You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Young and the Restless fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your Young and the Restless Thursday, July 20th episode information. There is a whole lot of Diane, Phyllis, Tucker, Ashley, with a little serving on the side of a bit of Billy and a bit of Christine, and things are not going to go the way that you may expect them to when Diane and Phyllis see each other for the first time since Phyllis has returned and gotten herself out of jail on bail. Before we dig in, if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Y&R updates, spoilers, news, and more. All right, let's dig in. So over at the GCAC, which is where we see everything happening these days, which is great because it's a great looking set, and I'm glad they revived it. Everybody was always at Society before. I don't know what Abby's going to do for lunch money if everybody's at the GCAC in the Jazz Lounge. But anyway, so Tucker McCall is talking to Phyllis, and he wants a report on her revenge plan, how she's going to take down Diane. Of course, he's doing this to benefit himself and Ashley. He suggests that she tried to steal Jack Abbott away from Diane and then also try to alienate Kyle from his mother. And Phyllis wants time. And then she gets upset when he says, I think we should use Summer as part of this. And she's telling him, I'll take care of it. Do not use Summer in this. And then he's trying to say, but if you could get Summer and Kyle back together, then that might help win you brownie points with Jack. Tucker's got all these ideas. Well, then Diane walks up on them. They're scheming. She knows they're scheming because it's Tucker. He's always scheming. I love me some Trevor St John, don't you guys? And so this is just after she has this kind of run-in with Ashley at the Abbott mansion where Ashley was taunting Diane about Phyllis being out on bail with no ankle monitor, unlike how Diane's situation went. And Diane sits down at the table with Tucker and Phyllis, and she plays nice. She says to Phyllis that she knows that Stark did them both dirty, and she's not upset. She's not holding a grudge at Phyllis. And Tucker's head explodes. This is the last thing he wants, is peace between these two. So then he tries to get Diane worked up to unload on Phyllis, but she doesn't. And then Phyllis stays civil too. And then Tucker starts getting annoyed at Phyllis and is trying to provoke her, but Phyllis just walks away. And then he goes back to trying to provoke Diane, but he gets just a little rise out of her, a little bit of go to hell. And he's like, been there, done that, got the tacky t-shirt. However, after all this, Diane is thinking back to when she choked Phyllis that fateful night because she'd like to do it again, but she knows she can't. It's just not worth it. That to me is the difference right now between Diane and Phyllis, is that Diane's thing is, I would like revenge on Phyllis, but it's not worth the price. And the price is Jack and Kyle. Where with Phyllis, it was like, I want revenge on Diane, and I don't care that the price is devastating my kids and all this kind of stuff. So, the problem is Phyllis is between a rock and a hard place. The rock is jail, and the hard place is Tucker telling her, I'm going to send you there if you don't go after her. So, Tucker is he's not very happy, and he gives up and he heads out after he doesn't get the interaction and the hatred and the angst between the women that he's wanting. So Ashley has called Billy Abbott to come to the Abbott mansion, and she's telling him that Diane is the real enemy, and then she starts grilling him on why Jack has gone to New York. Billy claims he doesn't know. I'm sure he does know. He claims he doesn't know. And then he starts asking her if she is going to pull the Jabot patents and take them away to her new company. And Billy says if she's going to be aggressive, they're going to be aggressive in return. She was trying to get Billy to flip to her side. He's not having it. He's definitely Team Jack. And then as he's leaving, Tucker's coming in, and Billy's just not happy to see the guy living at the family mansion, but he goes. Then Billy heads over to the GCAC, of course, where everybody is these days, and he runs into Diane. And this is nice. I'm enjoying their dynamic a whole lot. And he catches her up on the questions that Ashley was asking about Jack, and then she fills him in on talking to Phyllis and how that she's keeping a lid on everything, and it's cool. And then Billy says, you may remember that Billy had encouraged her to leave Jabot just temporarily until this stuff with Ashley died down, because he thought that if Diane stepped away that maybe Ashley would back off. But Ashley's not backing off, and Diane said she wasn't going to leave. Jack doesn't want her to leave. So Billy's like, fine, if you're in this, if you're staying at Jabot, that's great. You need to work with me and Jack to deal with protecting Jabot from Ashley and Tucker. And Diane is all in. Meanwhile, still at the GCAC, we have got Phyllis running into the last person she wants to see, and that is DA Christine Williams. Cricket was sitting around thinking about Phyllis and all the things she did back in the day when she did her so dirty over Danny Romalotti. And that's in addition to, of course, trying to run her down with a car and kill her. So Christine is very skeptical of this sketchy EMT's testimony that is supposedly exonerating Phyllis. And Phyllis keeps going on about Stark brainwashed me and I came back to do the right thing. You know, I was following my conscience. And Christine knows that Phyllis doesn't have a conscience. When she was married to Jack, Jack was her conscience, but, you know, I don't know. So Christine promises to Phyllis, I'm going to find out what is going on and I'm going to shut this down in court. She is confident that there are shenanigans, and she's right. So back at the Abbott Mansion, the whole episode's taken place at the Abbott Mansion in the GCAC, if you hadn't figured that out yet. Over at the mansion, Tucker and Ashley catch each other up on their days. She says that Jack is up in New York making trouble. So even though she asked Billy, she clearly has an inkling of what he's doing. And then Tucker says he put his lawyers to work on some of the contract issues because they wanted to go through the Jabot employee contracts to see if they could steal anybody away without violating non-competes. And he says he just wants to focus on their wedding planning because other people are working on the other stuff. You know, Phyllis, he's confident, is going to go after Diane. The lawyers are dealing with other stuff, but she just is trying to put him off. And he also tells her that Phyllis and Diane were very civil to each other, but he says it's all an act on both sides. And then things take a very emotional turn. And we're going to talk about that in 1 second. But if you haven't, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Y&R updates. And if you're enjoying this, give us a like. All right. So Tucker circles right back around to the wedding. He wants to get married soon. And Ashley doesn't want it to be a stage show. She doesn't want it to be a spectacle that is trying to distract people or annoy people. She wants their wedding to be real. And she says that's because she is really falling for him, and they kiss. What's interesting is Tucker says he hopes this is real. At the back of my mind, I don't know if this is true for you guys, but at the back of my mind, I hope Ashley is using him and playing him because he is just a serial cheater. He is not trustworthy, but I think it'd be a lot of fun if she was playing him. Although I don't want him to leave because I adore Trevor St. John, and he is, for me, the guy that I want to watch most on every episode because he's just chewing the scenery and he's just all over the place. He's such a dynamic actor. He's a whole lot of fun. There's a lot to see on Y&R on Thursday, so don't miss it.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.